When Eliam walked into the new office, limping, no one looked at his flawless résumé, only at the absence of his left leg. Conversations quieted down. Some whispered, others laughed openly, as if he were the joke of the day. One co-worker pointed at the crutches leaning against the desk and said, "This place is fast-paced, not a rehab clinic." Eliam felt his stomach twist, but stayed silent, clenching his dignity with both hands. What none of them knew is that this very man they were humiliating was about to change the future of that entire company, right in front of everyone. Before the accident, Eliam was just another rushed guy taking 2 buses a day to get to work. Life changed on a wet curve, on a rainy night, when a stray motorcycle took his leg and several certainties with it. Between hospitals, cold medical reports and pitying looks, he discovered programming in a free course at a community center. The keyboard became an invisible crutch, a support point for a future no one around him could see. Now, hired on a trial period, he only wanted to be treated as a professional. He didn't know his first battle would be against daily prejudice. On his first day, Eliam arrived early, specifically so he wouldn't get in anyone's way with his slower pace. He chose a discreet desk, leaned the crutches against it, and turned on the computer. Little by little, co-workers arrived, quick greetings, way too curious looks from people who claimed not to care. At coffee time, one of them said loudly, "At least he won't run away from work, right?" Laughter spread down the hallway, as if it were just another harmless joke. Eliam forced a smile, swallowed hard, trying to believe it was just lack of awareness, not malice. Later, during the team meeting, the manager introduced the new employees. When it was Eliam's turn, someone whispered, "That one already came with guaranteed parking." Another wave of giggles, this time in front of everyone. The manager pretended not to hear, changed the subject and moved on, hammering aggressive goals, tight deadlines, pressure. Eliam took notes, focused, even with his face burning. At the end of the day, he heard a group in the back of the room betting on how long he would last. He left the office, carefully dragging the chair back into place, but carrying a silent decision. If he failed there, it would never be for lack of effort or courage. That same night, instead of venting on social media, Eliam opened his old laptop and started reviewing the code for the company's internal system, which he barely knew. He realized many tasks the team did manually could be automated with a few simple scripts. While replaying the hallway laughter in his head, he adjusted lines, created functions, rearranged processes. Every successful command was a silent answer to those who thought he was only there out of pity. While they were betting how long it would take him to give up, the system he was secretly building was already saving hours of work each week. For weeks he arrived early and left late, hiding his project in a discreet folder on the computer. No manager knew, no co-worker imagined. The pain of the phantom limb got worse, but he refused to stop. One day, after hearing another joke about his extended breaks, Eliam took a deep breath and sent an email straight to the board, attaching the prototype he had created alone. He hit send with a trembling hand, sure it could be ignored or mocked again. What he didn't know was that this simple file would put his name in the most important meeting the company had held in years. 2 days later, while Eliam was organizing his tasks, the desk phone rang with an internal number he had never seen. On the other end, the calm voice of the secretary asked him to come up to the boardroom. On the way, his heart raced and the weight of his body shifted onto his single leg. He remembered every swallowed laugh, every hallway he had crossed, pretending not to hear anything. When he walked in, he found 3 directors with his prototype open on a large screen, colorful charts showing productivity gains no previous report had ever displayed. They wanted to know how a probationary employee had spotted something entire teams had ignored for years. Eliam explained his reasoning, the tests, the extra hours. He didn't apologize for anything. Then he heard the offer that silenced even his fear. They wanted to turn the project into the company's official product, with him leading the implementation. Days later, in the same meeting room where he had once been ridiculed, his co-workers now watched the presentation of the new internal system, named after Eliam's last name. In that moment, no one remembered the missing leg. They could only see the professional they had underestimated from day one, and now had no choice but to respect. For a long time, Eliam believed the missing part of his body defined everything he would never be able to do. The world around him seemed to agree. Pitying looks on the bus, whispers in the hallway, quick laughs that cut deeper than any scalpel. That day, sitting in front of the screen, with his last name stamped on the system, he realized they'd been aiming at the wrong target all along. It wasn't the missing limb that limited him. It was the tiny expectations trying to fit him into a ready-made story of failure. Maybe you too carry visible or invisible scars and have heard that you're a burden, a favor, a problem. People like that show up everywhere, in families, at work, on the street. But they don't get to write the ending of your story, no matter how loudly they laugh today. If Eliam's journey spoke to you, type "I am not a burden" in the comments. Subscribe to the channel Unstoppable Underrated and share this video with someone who needs to remember there are still chapters ahead. Nothing is over as long as you're still trying to stand up, even tired. The ones humiliated today may be exactly the ones holding the pen to decide the game tomorrow.